So we're going to look at standard form, and this is a way of writing really large or small numbers using the same value or structure, as it were. So the first value is a number that is between 1 and 10. It can be decimals, not a negative, and then it's always times by 10, and then the indice, the little number, tells me if it's a large number or if it's a small number, and how many place values it has to be changed as it goes through. So let's look at some examples. So these are examples of changing them into standard form. So if I was to look at the 70 here, then I'm looking at the addition of 4 place values. So effectively I'm going to do 7 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which is 7 times 10 to the 4. So this one will be 7.2 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. So again, 7.2 times 10 to the 4. So it is to do with the amount of place values after the first digit that you're dealing with. So on the last one there, you've got 7.2 times 10 to the 5. And it's quite easy once you can see the pattern as you go through. So if you want to pause the video and have a go on the ones on the right, you can do. So they are the answers. So moving on, we'll look at when I have standard form and I've got to convert back. So what it's meaning is that you're going to have 3.1 times by 10 times 10, and there's 6 of them. 6. So you're moving that place value along 6 places. You're going to end up with 3,100,000. Okay. So here we're going to do 1.27 times by 10 times 10 times 10. So that's going to be 1270. So again, once you've seen the pattern, it's easy enough for you to make shortcuts to get to the right answer. So again, if you want to pause the video and have a quick go, you can do. So there's the answers. So as I said at the start, we can also do standard form for small numbers, and then again this is to do with place value. So we have 5 and we're dividing this time by 10 to get the positioning as we go along. So we would write this as 5 times 10 to the minus 2. So you are dividing is what the negative is telling us what to do. So here again you do 5 divided by 10 3 times this time to move that decimal place along. So 5 times 10 to the minus 3. So it's always times in the actual structure of the answer. So 5.72 times by 10 again to minus 3. So it's all to do with how many times you're moving that decimal point along in the place value. So again, if you want to pause the video, you can do. And there's your answers. So let's reverse the process again. So we're going to divide 4.1 by 10 6 times. Lots of tens. So that's going to end up at 0.00023456641. Okay. So 0.00415. There is a shortcut that you can spot if you count the number of zeros and link it to the indice. So again, if you want to pause the video, you can do and have a go. And there you go. So there are cases that look like standard form, but then they aren't. Okay, so remember that the value at the front is a number which is between 1 and 10. And it's always times by 10, and then the indice is a value that is going to tell us whether it's a big number or a small number. So we'll look at each case. So we can see that this one here looks correct, so that would be true. Here we have a value that's bigger than 10, so that would be false. So to make that into standard form, you have to divide by 10 at the beginning, and because it's like a seesaw, if you divide by 10 here, we're going to increase by 10 on the other side, so it'd be 4.5 times 10 to the 10. Again, this value is less than 1, so that would be incorrect. Again, 4.5. This time I'm making this side bigger, so I make this on the right side smaller. So again, it's times by 10, but it's to the power of 8 this time. This one is true because I can have the negative with the indice, but I cannot have the negative with the value at the front, so that would be false. I can't have that number. Okay. So you all have a variety of questions to do with some calculations, and again, you should have been taught this all in lessons, so I want to go through each style of calculation with you, and then I'll leave you with some questions if you want to practice a bit more. So with the addition and the subtraction, we have to convert first, and then you carry out the calculation and then convert back at the end. Now when you convert, it's easier if you try and line up your answers as you go. So the first one is going to be 3, 2 with 8 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. And then I've got 6 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 6, 8, 1. And if you try and line everything up, it makes life easier as your calculations. Now this might be done in a perimeter question as you're going towards the back of the foundation paper. Okay, and the same works with the subtraction. You're going to convert both of them, but it's the same numbers as before, but instead we're going to subtract. So again, line everything up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this time we're going to subtract. Obviously we need to remember to borrow. And convert back. With multiplication and division, we can do a shortcut, which is where we take the actual values at the beginning and we take the powers of 10 towards the end. So 3.2 times by 2 and 10 to the 3 times by 10 to the 8. And we work those out separately, so it's going to be 6 to the 4, and then it will be 10 to the 11 because we can add the indices together, and we keep that times in the middle, and that is in standard form, so I don't have to change that after. Dividing, it's the same process, so we're going to take the digits out the front, we're going to take the indices out the back, we're going to divide as we go through this time. So when I divide 3.2, I'm going to get 1.6, and when I divide with the indices, we take away the powers, so I'm going to get -5, and again it's always times in there, and again it's standard form, so I don't need to do anything with that. So hopefully that helps you remind yourself what to do with standard form. There's some questions if you want to have a go, and the Hegarty numbers. 122 to 127, a variety of questions within that to help you if you want to practice a bit more. Remember that you might have questions that are more application about perimeter or area as you go through. Well done, thanks for listening, I hope that helps.